Hi, welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. Today is episode 35, Unlocking the Difference and Similarities Between Religion and Spirituality. So right off the bat, I'd like to just say a disclaimer that, all my videos are my own personal opinions and based on my own personal experiences. So I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm merely sharing with you my story and my perceptions today regarding religion and spirituality. So there are some similarities between religion and spirituality and some definite differences as well. So here's just some general information for you. Religion is an organized system of beliefs and practices and moral values that are centered around deities. And spirituality is more personal to the individual and focuses on peace, the meaning of life, our meaning in life, and our connection to something greater than oneself, also considered a higher power. Both spirituality and religion provide guidance, support, comfort, and a sense of purpose. And as a side note, I'm sure you've heard of atheism. You may be an atheist yourself. So just a brief note on atheism is the absence of belief in the existence of deities or higher power. And it's based in empirical evidence, reason, and science. So why do we, a lot of us anyway, end up choosing one over the other, religion over spirituality, or vice versa, spirituality over religion? Well, some factors that have to do with it is our upbringing, and I personally was raised religious in the Catholic religion, and then through my life path and questions that I've had throughout my life came more into the spiritual realm, and that's where I'm at now. So our upbringing does have something to do with it. It's religious or spiritual beliefs in our childhood environment can strongly influence our worldview and shape our preferences, not only as we're growing up, but in my case, later in life. So the choice that we make, whether we're tending more toward religion or spirituality, is deeply personal. And it's influenced by our combination of intellectual, emotional, and experiential factors, including our upbringing, our personal experiences, our philosophical outlook, and cultural influence as well. So now I'm going to break down some of the main points of interest and facts about religion and spirituality, sort of pointing out the differences at first. So with religion, there is a sense of community and support that provides those who follow religions a sense of belonging, and through the ceremonies and rituals and social gatherings, you're part of a community. There's a certainty and a structure that comes with religion, as religions offer a clear doctrine of rituals and guidelines, providing that sense of structure, and a lot of people find comfort and reassurance through these practices of rituals and guidelines, and the doctrine as well. So a sense of cultural identity is another aspect of religion that's very strong, and it helps to reinforce a sense of belonging to a group or a culture, whether that be the local neighborhood and your church, or your culture in general, maybe your ethnicity. So moving on to spirituality, and what does that provide, and how is it different from religion? Well, in spirituality, we look at a broader range of beliefs and practices that may not include or adhere to religious doctrines. So many of us in the spiritual community research and study different religions and philosophies and pull the commonalities and what resonates with our heart and soul and carry those things with us. So, a combination of Eastern and Western philosophies, some ancient philosophies. I'm very much into the Tao Te Ching. I'll probably do a whole episode on that. So another aspect of spirituality is our personal exploration. And it's kind of branching out, seeking answers to questions from me, seeking answers to questions that I've held throughout my life that I wasn't really getting much feedback or information on, because it wasn't part of the doctrine in my upbringing and in the church that I belonged to, and the religion that I belonged to, in the Catholic Church. But on a personal note, I've always been interested in the concept of reincarnation and past lives, and that's not really a concept that's explored in the Catholic Church. And in my own experience, I was discouraged from questioning those type of things. So moving on to the next aspect of spirituality. So, and this goes along with what I was just talking about, seeking philosophical compatibility. So when the teachings and philosophies are not covered in the religious tradition, or even some spiritual approaches, in the spiritual realm, we're able to delve into, seek, and research answers to these questions among a variety of philosophies and practices. So another aspect of spirituality is the experience and the revelation. And I've had some of these mystical and transcendental experiences, and it usually occurs when I'm in meditation. I've spent a day of mostly being silent, and I will receive inspiration and little nuggets of wisdom, some that I share and some that I keep to myself, that I am waiting to share when the time is right. So moving on, another aspect of spirituality is, well, I hate to use the word rejection, but the rejection of dogma. It's not turning away and saying, no, I don't believe in these things, but it's, in my case, leaving religion and heading into the spiritual community. I took the basic tenets, beliefs that still to this day resonate with me, and left the rest behind. So when it comes to some of the structured rituals or beliefs within, in my case, the Catholic Church, I had to kind of leave that and drop it at the door when I walked away. So freedom of thought is associated with spirituality, as well as having, doubts about certain beliefs that we were taught and held throughout most of our life. And I feel it's perfectly reasonable and acceptable to have doubts and seek answers beyond the teachings that we were raised on. And if we're finding answers there, and the answers are resonating with our inner self, our pure essence, our spirit, then in my case, I'm able to assimilate that into my overall way of my beliefs and my approach to life. So ultimately, and again, this is all my personal experience, ultimately, along my spiritual path, I've had quite a bit of growth. And I mentioned about the wisdom and revelations that I receive, and insights as well. And it's a non-stop process. So as you go along this if you're on a spiritual path, you may already realize this, but the little stepping stones that take you down the path, and the different people that you meet at just the right time that help you through that next phase of ascension, of learning and growing more in the spiritual journey. The lessons and wisdom that we gain along the way starts out as simple things, and then gradually you can take those little stones and building blocks that's starting to form your foundation of your spiritual practice. And as the more in-depth and deeper aspects of spirituality are revealed and learned, we're able to use the initial building blocks that we found in spirituality to help support and build a greater understanding of spirituality. So I'm not sure if that made sense, but I hope it did. So, for some, there's a rejection of the hypocrisy in religion, and these aspects of religion that are negatively associated, things like greed and power, the abuse that we've of course heard about. These are commonalities in every aspect of life. It's not just the churches, or particularly the Catholic Church, that's guilty of some of these things. But again, in my own personal experience, I found that my relationship to God was not affected whether I was walking through the doors of the Catholic Church or not. But, the moral failings of religious leaders and hypocrisy within religious institutions can really affect our overall view of religion, churches, and what part do we choose to play in that? So I don't want to go too deep into that. I'm trying to keep this fairly neutral without relaying too many of my own personal experience. So I'm going to move on to commonalities between spirituality and religion. So both explore the understanding and profound aspects of the human experience, and they help us to search for the meaning and the purpose in life. Other commonalities are a belief in a higher power, a divine force, and in my other videos I have used a variety of terms to identify what I consider our creator, our source with a capital S, spirit with a capital S, God for those of you who relate to that term. But both spirituality and religion do have a belief in this divine power and this higher source, in God. They both provide ethical and moral guidelines. Both religion and spirituality provide a sense of community and connection with others. And personal transformation is definitely possible within the religious realm and the spiritual realm. If you're willing to do the work, the transformation will take place. So, all about intention. The rituals and practices of both spirituality and religion can strongly help build the foundation of your beliefs in that particular aspect. And then just the overall sense of healing and comfort that comes with both religion and spirituality. So I've talked a little bit about my personal journey with both religion and spirituality, and I want to share a couple stories with you. So the first one has to do with when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And as I mentioned, I was raised in the Catholic religion, and I attended a Catholic school for the first 8 years of schooling. So throughout grade school up to 8th grade, I attended Catholic school. And part of the classes that we had every day was a religion class. And I can remember the nun had just taught us about heaven, hell, and purgatory, the concepts of that, and the concepts of what they consider serious sin, which is called mortal sin in the Catholic Church, and venial sin, which are smaller sins. So according to the teachings of the Church, mortal sins, things like murder, can send you directly to hell. And venial sins, we can seek forgiveness and pay a penance, and then ultimately be allowed into heaven. So, yeah, the 3rd grade religion teacher had just finished explaining all of this to us, and asked the class, was, after everything she had just said, was there anyone in the room who was not afraid to die? And I raised my hand. I looked around and realized I was the only one. I just thought, that was normal. I've never been afraid to die. So she questioned me and asked me why I wasn't afraid to die. And I said, well, I wasn't afraid to die. I wasn't afraid of what comes next. I was afraid of how I might die. Nobody wants to burn up in a building or a car crash or something, but I've never been afraid to actually die and move on to beyond the veil. It just wasn't. And that really surprised her. And she didn't know how to respond. So she just quickly directed the class back to page 32 or whatever in the religion book and just breezed past me. But I know over the years I've had questions within the Catholic Church, like in prayer groups and things, about reincarnation and past lives. And that was quickly, I don't want to say shunned, but the subject was changed very quickly. And I just, was trying so hard to be a good Catholic that I pushed down these questions that I had, and eventually, they came back, and the right people at the right time showed up for me to help guide me toward what I consider my truth. So I did find a deeper connection as the healing occurred through my journey of working through past traumas. And with each step of the way, I felt God always right there with me, and the Holy Spirit working through me, helping me heal, helping me become a better version of myself, helping me to understand my past experiences, especially the most difficult ones. And, what lessons were in there. And it's just, for me personally, it's been the spirituality that's helped me to work through a lot of these things and, like I said, become a better version of myself. Whereas with religion, I felt more condemned, and that I had to work extra hard and follow all the rules to be accepted and loved by God. And I know that that's not true. I know that that's definitely not true. So, in closing, I just want to stress, this is clearly a personal choice, and it's going to be, whether you're spiritual, religious, or none of the above is of no matter to me. We're each on our own spiritual journey, and I just hope that you will find what resonates with you and use that to help you become a better person. So here's our episode for today. I know it's been a little delay in my last few episodes, and I apologize for that, but I like to take a little time to myself, and sometimes I just put some of my projects on hold for a day or two so that I can get back on track. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. I plan on making another episode here today so that I've got 2 ready to go for the week. But as always, I wish you peace, love, and light. I hope you're doing well. And thanks a lot for joining me. And I'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.